G'day guys, welcome back to the channel, and in this episode we're just going to do a bit of a walk around, a bit of a workshop update, and we're just going to have a little bit of a look at what's been happening on these two cars, the XA 4-door sedan and the XB Coupe. So come and have a look here. First of all, on the sedan, I was playing around with these guards which I bought from Rare Spares, and just seeing how they basically fit. So I can see that for this particular car I am going to have to tweak a few things, and the first thing I think that I wanted to mention was on the passenger side. Just got a little template here which I'm going to sort of show you, but I noticed on the passenger side that my gap, although it was roughly what I'd like at the top, you know, roughly about 6 mil or something, it got progressively larger as it went down, and I sort of thought about it. I played around with a few things. I mean, my first thought was, oh, you know, I need to add material. But before I go, you know, tacking welding rods on there or anything, I thought maybe I better check a few things. And I think one of you guys mentioned something in the comments about the wheel arch, maybe the curve in the wheel arch. I don't know if you meant this area here, possibly. But what I did is I went and took a pattern off an old guard which I've got laying over here. This is what I was going to have to use, this ratty old thing. But that's an original guard and it hasn't had a rust repair panel added to it. So I cut a template, which that's just where it goes flat. So that's roughly where it, sorry, there. Okay, so you can see that the curvature is not quite right. It's roughly, oh no, it's a few mil out. Now, you could leave it like that, obviously, and leave a weird gap. But what I was thinking is I may play around with the stretcher. So I'll take the guard off and put this part in the stretcher and just kind of like open it up a little bit. Because if I did that, if I open that up, I don't know if you can catch this on camera, but if you open that up, what's going to happen is the bottom of the guard's going to come this way. So if I open that up, you can see the gap closes. Now I could force that out and try to bolt it up to the bracket, but you don't want your panels under tension. You want your panel just to sit in the right place. So that's what I'll probably try to do. Put it in the stretcher, try to open that curve up a little bit and close that gap. And then we'll see how we're looking. And I just want to reiterate, this is not going to be a show car. This is just going to be, you know, something like a resto kind of thing. So I'm not going for show car gaps or anything, just something that's, you know, in the ballpark. So, but yeah, apart from that, it's matching up to the top of the door okay. The curve that was in the door, it was sort of like a deeper curve. And so what I've done is just sort of with the hammer and dolly, just taken a bit of the curve out and sort of flattened it off a bit. That's not going to really change much. So I'm not going to alter the guard. I've just made the door match the top of the guard. Obviously you can see that I haven't tried fitting the windscreen molds yet, so I'm not sure how this area is going to look. Kim from Beset, oh, I forgot the name of the YouTube channel. Beset Restorations? I can't remember. Do you remember?
Don't remember.
Sorry Kim. Anyway, Kim was mentioning that you may have to alter this part here. Anyway, what else? So obviously you probably saw that side before. On the driver's side, the gap is not really as bad of an issue, but it's not such a bad issue down the bottom. Again, you can just basically, you know, move the front of the guard around, but it's actually going to be a little bit tight. So I'm going to have to double check, is that on the guard or is that on the door? But either way, I am going to open that up a bit, because we're looking here, we're only got like, well, you have 5, 6, 4.9, 5.1, 5.4. So up top here, I've got 3 mil, 3.3 gap. So that's really tight through there. So I'll probably end up just cutting a bit of material off the door and just evening the gap up a bit. So as far as the rest of the car goes, it's ready to probably add some body fill. I just went over this just quickly with it, you know, with the long block, and you can see all the lows that are here. So I'm going to have to work on that a little bit more and get that quarter panel up to scratch. Yeah. So on the XB, I've got this Mustang bonnet, which I thought was right, but it's not, which I mentioned in previous episode. If you come over on the passenger side here and have a look, what can I say? So when I first whacked this bonnet together, and I do say whacked it together, I mean I wasn't really finessing things. I was just kind of like getting approximations, because that's what we specialise in here. And it turns out that when I set the car up the first time, back when I made this bonnet, I probably had guards a little closer, but we're at this point now where we're sort of trying to finesse how the body fit, how the panels fit, and this is the finished position of the doors. Hence, that's where the guards have to go. Hence, the bonnet's not fitting properly anymore. So, you can see all the measurements, I took earlier and wrote down on my masking tape. We've got an average. Well, let's not talk averages. Let's just say we've got anywhere from 5.3 millimeters gap up to 11.8 millimeters. So she's a little bit off. If you have a look at the driver's side here, actually that's the other thing I've been doing since the last video. I got to work on the driver's side, and if you look down the side of that, that's looking reasonable at the moment. I've still got issues with the door. There was a huge amount of heat warping around that area when the door, when that little panel was welded in. So I thought I'd got it. And again, this is where it comes down to, you've got to get your steelwork correct first. I thought I'd got it close enough, So I went ahead, did the body work on it, and it turns out that it's not quite right. So it's not something you can see, but it's something I can feel. That just here, it's just a little bit sunk in, and you could probably add more filler and make it look okay, but I want it to be the correct shape. I don't want to look down the side and sort of see, I don't want to see it dipping in any further than it should do. So apart from that, the gaps are looking pretty good. We've got, an average of 6 mil down there. When I say an average, I'm saying 6, 6.1, 6.2, something like that. Same at the back of the door. So it's all looking fairly nice. And again, if you look down, if you just look straight down the side of the car there, you can sort of see that things are lining up fairly nicely. So not perfect yet, but we're getting there. The one way to sort of tell is, you actually say hello to my little friend. This is what I've been using basically for a lot of the work. Actually, that's not good. Turn it up to a piece of clean. Yeah, it's a lot easier if you're putting it on a piece of clean wood. Okay, so you can sort of see there that she's pretty much flush fit, and that's what you want. So that when you look along the car, it just looks like a sheet of glass. I'm not saying this is going to look like a sheet of glass. I'm saying that's what you want. So, but anyway, this has been really handy, because it's 6 mil. Can use it for my gaps. So. Yeah. Anyway, so coming back to the bonnet, to address all that wobbliness, I've been working away here, and I found that one of the best things to use when I needed to fill up a bit of excess gap is these welding rods. So these are 3.2 mil, come like that. So that's your arc welding rod. I just put it on a hard surface and just gently tap it and break all the flux off, because I don't want to bend it, I want to keep it perfectly straight. And then I've just been tacking that in place, and then putting like a little flat nose G, what do you call it? No, yeah, I'm getting all screwed up on words again. Right, okay. So, as I was saying, I just used these. So, reason being, I just want to sort of, when you lift that up, you clamp it like that, and it'll just hold it nice and flat. And go ahead and tack it on. So, and the reason I wanted to keep these perfectly straight is because if there was like variances in the edge, I can basically cover it by, you know, putting that on there and keeping it straight, tacking it up. Putting a nice little straight edge. It's around about the right thickness. And once it's all sort of welded up, I can plenish it, and then if I have to, I can just sort of run the sander down the edge of it and just get everything perfectly straight. So I've come down the front here, and where I've sort of got to a point where I only need to add about 1 mil, then I just do away with the rod and I just start adding just welds. So I just do, you know, a bunch of little welds and then call it off. Now when I say that, if you're welding on sheet metal, you don't want to do like a whole run of welds and then worry about cooling it later. This is not sheet metal, so I just wanted to mention that this bonnet already had a piece of 20 or 25 mil flat bar welded on it when I first tried to fit it, because this is a Mach 1 Mustang bonnet. It's a 73 Mach 1 Mustang bonnet, it's not a Falcon bonnet. And they're a lot narrower, and that's why I had to weld the flat bar on it in the first place. And so I can kind of get away with more welding on it because I'm not welding directly to the bonnet skin. It's actually a piece of solid 3 mil flat bar that I'm welding to. I could sort of get away with it a little bit more heat, but at the same time I'm only going about 15-20 mil and then I'm blowing it off. So yeah, so anyway, that's it. That's the bonnet. And yeah, just a whole bunch of welding. You've got to be patient. I don't really know what else to say. You got anything to say?
No, nothing to say.
That's a first. Yeah, so anyway, that was all it was, guys. Just a little bit of an update, a little bit of a catch up. Yeah, we'll be back again next week. We'll have something maybe a little bit more interesting to show you. But in the meantime, guys, don't forget, like, share and subscribe. And let's hopefully build this channel up. Alright guys, thanks for watching.